But back to what we were saying. Yeah, I got a haircut, and I also learned how to cut those clips with AI.
That
And
segue was incredible, by the way. This is
what segue?
haircut to cutting clips.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Good one. See? Okay. But yeah, I got my hair cut and got those clips cut. But I think you were asking me if I had to select anything with the AI or if it
Yeah,
just.
yeah,
So I didn't have to select anything. All I had to do was select a template in terms of the subtitles and the way that I wanted the video to be displayed in terms of like a square or like portrait mode or
yeah. Right.
whatever. And then it just used AI to grab the most engaging pieces, and then I can edit them based on like slide it to the left, slide to the right, and then I can also edit like all the subtitles and everything like that. I can also switch the
Mm.
ratios, so like I can take the same clip and then I can make it a square, I can make it a landscape, and then I can make it portrait, all in the same app, which is really cool. So
Very cool.
yeah, but
I'm definitely going to use that because I have a lot of stuff I need to do that for along with this content. So this is
yeah, it's the best one
useful.
I've found. The only thing I'm still looking for a better version of is my repurpose. So I just canceled it, but I've been using something called repurpose.io, which automatically
Mhm.
posts everything I post to Instagram to TikTok and YouTube Shorts, which is super clutch. But I don't want to pay for that and the other thing, but I might end up having to do that, but we'll see.
That's
Uh,
fair.
but regardless, yeah, those have been my biggest like accomplishments, and I'm really excited to kind of see how I can continue to automate my life because I'm one of those people that's like, oh hell yeah, AI's here, let's go.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I feel like if you're not like that, you're just gonna get swept up in a sea of. It's gonna be like Terminator for you, except like less killy and more like we're taking your money. You know.
Oh yeah, no, I just with my experience with Web3, it's been such a you learn a lot, man. People are pretty. You can get taken for all you're worth by someone who doesn't even know your name. But yeah, I think it's gonna come
Yeah.
down to how well we protect ourselves, honestly. Because I think that, like you said, like it's gonna be like Terminator. Like you can, AI can really mess you up if you're not paying attention. And I understand being like, oh, I'm not gonna use AI. It's like, okay, well, AI is gonna use you.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. The thing is, like the whole reason it all works is because of the data you've already put into the world being a human. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of whether or not you're using it, like you said, it's pulling from you. All you have to do is exist. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But um,
But what about you though? Back to what is one thing that you've done or experienced or whatever that's made you better?
in the last week or just in general?
I'd say yeah. In the last week, we'll keep it the same.
Do do I on a physical material level, I'm planning on buying a new car,
Oh,
and
fuck yeah.
yeah, and up until this point in my life, I've pretty much like cycled through beaters that just get me from A to B. My last car was definitely my nicest car, but it was still a beater. It was like it was 2018, but it was like the last owner was an Uber driver, so the miles were
Oh,
wild. You know what I mean?
rough. Yeah.
So it was like that. But I'm looking into getting something a little more pricey that can last me for a couple of years instead of a couple months. 'Cause I've never had a car longer like a full year up
Really?
into this. No,
Oh man, that's
yeah,
I've been definitely been there before. I think I told you this on the last stream, but I drove to and from Miami for I'd say
yeah. I
like
remember
six
this. He's
months
in this.
for in like a $750 car that was definitely owned by someone who sold weed because there was blunt guts and like he was like the car that people basically I think he was selling it because the car was hot and he didn't want it anymore.
Got it.
And I was like, why? Because why else would you sell a car on Craigslist for $750 and say
Yeah,
it's
that's
got
a
to go
little wild,
today?
but
I was like, all
yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, that's awesome, man. So, do you know what you're looking at, like generally?
I do. I want a Tesla, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, so I luckily I'm blessed enough to say that my life has put me in a place where I could afford a Tesla, but not a brand new one. So I'm kind of I'm surfing the market, doing what I can do. But I'm looking at something that can last me a good 3-5 years,
I mean, Tesla
look
lasts
cool and look
you
cool as fuck doing it.
long as shit.
Yeah. So that's my goal. Plus, I don't do a lot of road trips, but I do a lot of driving around LA, and this is like the perfect city to have a Tesla in. So
Agreed. If anything at all, that's the city.
yeah, so I feel like I might as well go all out with that. That was on a material level. I'm trying to think. I kind of, for various reasons, I reoriented how I guess you could say meditate. I call it between. It's like a cross between meditating and praying. What I do, I kind of just like sit and think, basically.
Okay.
But there's it works to a degree sometimes. I mean, all right, I'll say it like this. I find myself meditating all the fucking time. Like not even intentionally. I'll just sit in my room or sit somewhere I am and just be like locked in thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But when I say meditating, or what I'm describing now, is like meditation / prayer with intent, like sitting down with the intent of doing it, and kind of going through a formula in a sense
Isn't
of
that
like,
manifesting though?
no, because I'm not really asking for things.
Okay.
Um, I'm it's more like, so what I do, and I've done a mix of these before, but what I do is kind of like say what I'm grateful for, and say how I'm showing that gratitude. Say what I appreciate. Say how I'm showing that appreciation.
Okay.
It's more like I'm
It's
a
like a
very practical.
reflection. It's like a reflection meditation almost.
Exactly. It's reflection, and then using that reflection to be like, I call myself realistically optimistic. I don't I don't particularly like to ask God for anything on a material or physical plane. I'll ask him for like strength to continue to persevere and things like that.
Yeah.
But
I love asking
not
for
not
wisdom or the sight to see things. That's a good one.
yeah, bro. Exactly. Like please just allow me to see the blessings you put in my face. You
Yes.
know.
Love that one.
But um, but not like, please give me this extra 10 grand for this Tesla. Like,
Well, no, that's a byproduct of just like being a good person
yeah,
and like doing the work. That'll come.
yeah, exactly.
You don't have to ask God for that.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't give a fuck. Like,
No.
that's my job to handle. But no. So kind of like going from what I used to do a lot was just kind of sit and think. Definitely talk about appreciation and gratitude. And just it was kind of like I would get to where I needed to get, but it felt like there was a lot of confusion, and like thoughts were convoluted. So I like thought about it, ironically, and realized, okay, once I get to a certain point in that process, I need to start thinking more like, okay, if I have a goal, I'm gonna say what that goal is, and then kind of speak about how I plan on achieving it, both on a spiritual and practical level. So more or less like what I would like this thing to do for me, and then how I would like to achieve that thing. You know what I mean? Um, Again, not really asking for much, but kind of making things make sense, and then understanding the plan as to how I'm going to progress. So I don't, because I've noticed the reason I'm doing that, or I did that, is because this, I was working real hard to get ready for this whole showcase thing that I did for Jingle.
Mm-hmm.
Nights of no sleep, etc., etc. And then I do it. I had a couple of days to chill, and now I'm into this next week, and I felt, and I've had this feeling before, and this is why I assessed it in the way I did. Like leading up to that day, I was stressed, but not no, I was anxious, but not stressed.
Mm.
And I feel like that anxiety can just be it's just like another term for adrenaline for me, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a feeling. It's just describing a
Yeah.
feeling that your body is giving you.
Yeah, exactly. It's honestly, I get that a lot from sports. It's like the butterflies are a good thing now, because I just like,
Oh,
I know
I
how to
love it. Yeah, if you can,
know how to
if you
hone
can
them.
like, yeah, if you can hone in on like what you're experiencing and understand it just at the physical level, then you can be a lot more calm about it. Because like Being anxious is just, it's a way to describe your hands getting sweaty, your heart speeding up, and like the like it's
Right.
just physiological things that are prepping you for an activity. So it's not a bad thing. It's like saying the word consequence is a bad word. It's just because most people have negative consequences, but there are such things as positive, like good consequences. Like if you eat right, you'll feel better. That's a good consequence.
Right. 100%. 100%.
So
Um, so once that culminated and that day went really well and whatever happened from it, the stress of okay, now what's next came back in, almost in a sense of like I feel less ready.
mm,
Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not sure what, like I know what direction I want to go, but I haven't like, it's like when you get over the hump, right? But now you're at the
yeah.
bottom of the next hill, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's well, so
Uh,
you achieved a goal, right? I mean, you
yeah. I definitely. Well, in my head, no, I hit a milestone, which is a little different.
Yeah, well, so the reason I ask the like just for clarification, because I feel like when you're in it, like you're in the work, like you're doing the work, it's really easy for us to be like, I'm on track, I'm doing a good job, I'm like,
Yeah, you get it.
and
You
then
get it.
but then like when it's done, you're like, oh crap. But that what I was gonna say is what you're doing is like A, that's what I do, and B, that's like the perfect thing to do because I forget what the quote is. I'm probably gonna butcher it, but I think it's if you want wisdom, be quiet, and
Mm,
if you want peace, be still.
mm.
So if you want wisdom and peace, be quiet and still, i.e., meditation. But what you're saying is like if you want the wisdom, if you want to be able to move on. So what I'll do is I put it in a little bit more of like a blunt way, but I think it's kind of the same thing. Is I'll just come in my office and I'll like lay on the floor because like I sit all day.
Mhm.
So like sometimes just laying down like gives me a new perspective, quite literally and like mentally.
Right.
So I will do the same thing when I've accomplished my task for the day, and then I'll sit on the floor and I'll just kind of like you said, like think, but I'll let my thoughts work themselves out. And that's what I think the biggest part of meditation is in terms of benefits is it allows your thoughts to process. This is why going for walks is so important. This is why meditation is so important. This is quiet time, reflection, whatever you do. This is
Mm.
such a requirement because our brains need time to do what I call like a defrag, but not while you're asleep. Because I know it does that while you're asleep, but it needs time to think actively and consciously, but not to the point where you're like processing with the front of your brain. It's like you take a seat and watch your brain go.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. But it's hard to do that. Well, it's become easier for me. It was definitely a lot harder to do that when I didn't understand um, who I was as much.
Well, you didn't have a
Because then,
path, right? You were just kind of like sitting there waiting for something that you weren't.
yeah, or like you feel like you might, yeah. I was never the type to sit and wait, but I would be messed up because I'd try to like get into that thought mode and be lost and not really know where to go because my whole life is made up of stuff that I just think is right. And
Mm,
I was doing, you know what I mean? And I'm just doing because it's like gets me to tomorrow or get, Um, whereas now it's definitely a lot easier. It's just a matter of like kind of letting the spirit guide it more than the brain itself.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
because when the brain jumps in too much, then you start like letting real important self decisions be based on more material things, and I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like obviously being young, being doing the stuff I do, it's like it's difficult to separate those two things,
Oh,
but I
for
make a
sure.
point of it. But it just takes a second. Sometimes I can't just do it like that. I have to really sit and okay, this belongs here and this belongs here. You
Yeah,
know?
well, so that's why they call it a meditation a practice, and same thing with like yoga and stuff, because you never really like master it. It's kind of just something that you get better at and that you can get more into. Because I notice that when I don't meditate for X amount of days, it does take me a second to get into that like
Yeah.
and and that's, I mean, for me, that's almost part of it, right? So you're like working out that part of you. It's not like technically a muscle, but you're working out that part of you that allows yourself to think. And what I was going to say previously about your thoughts is that, the thoughts are almost the thoughts that you're talking about that are like materialistic are like of this world, right? They're very like, yeah, I'll just say that they're of this world. And then the thoughts that the thoughts, whatever you want to call them, ideas or whatever, the thoughts will be from like the spirit, like you were saying. So that's kind of what I thought about in terms of the way that
Yeah.
those ideas and thoughts come through. Because when they're like your brain thinking on it, it's just like A, B, C, D. It's just trying to solve problems and patterns and trying to like do things that are manipulating the world around us. Where like the physical world, whereas the spiritual, like allowing that spirit to speak to you, whatever you want to call it, the universe or like this God or the spirit, whatever, that is allowing the higher self to become more real. It's allowing you to be like to truly live out your purpose. I'm trying not to be like lofty, but I don't know how else to describe it.
No, but like I get you.
Yeah,
You making perfect sense.
yeah, just
Because yeah, it's like Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say just like it's allowing the universe to speak to you in a sense, because you're quieting your thoughts, and that like that clapping monkey in the back of your brain like it has a chance to like shut off. It's less like like the chatter is gone, and it allows that
Right.
like deeper and even if it's not, so we'll call it like even the subconscious. I think that's a better way to relate to it. It's allowing your subconscious a minute to talk, because your subconscious likes to whisper
Mm,
and your conscious is
mm.
screaming all the time. Like your ego is just like, pay attention to me, whereas like your subconscious is just like, no, I'll wait till you're not
Because
talking.
we live in the conscious. That's why.
Right.
Because it's hard. Yeah, you're very right about that. It's it's also not the like I knew this, but it just hits every time, and I'm just like put this one. There's sometimes there's times where you have to sit and genuinely think within the conscious world, like about practical shit.
Well, yeah, that's
But
called complex problem solving, right?
right. But like I don't like to do that before I've thought in the spiritual plane, because then I feel like whatever I come up with over here, I might not be on track.
Yeah, that makes total
You know?
sense. Yeah, it's almost
Yeah.
like I think of it like getting guidance from your spiritual ancestors. Like, what do I do next? Tell me, guide me, and then
Yeah.
you get the guidance, and then you go do that thing, right?
Yeah. Really.
That's awesome. That's see, I didn't even start doing that till recently, the last like 2 or 3 years, where I started like sit and just like think and allow myself to think and just be like just being a human being for a second. It's been nice.
It's definitely something that you don't think will change your life until you really do it, and then
Yeah, I mean it's a constant thing
yeah.
too. You got to consider like so it's only as good as when you use it. So it's not like one of those things where you can like, oh, I did it this month, I'm good. I mean, yeah, it's better than not
Right.
doing it all,
Yeah.
but it's so I was gonna ask
Yeah.
you, do you use paper when you do this, or is this all in your head? Because I'd be curious if you're like documenting this.
It starts in my head. Okay, so it used to be on paper more, and I found that I was using too many words. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just like in life, when like that simple phrase makes us go, "No way!" It's just like that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start writing too much shit down, you're like explaining all like the way that your brain thinks when that shouldn't be what sticks. What's behind that should be what sticks.
Gotcha.
You know.
So do you ever do like a brain dump then, like where you just literally write what's in your head?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
But
that's
what
not
I
bad.
try to do, no, I know. I mean, what I try to do now, more often than not, is typically if I have one of these thinking sessions or meditation sessions, and I come out with a new understanding, um, I found that I was kind of like unintentionally halfway to fully to very little practicing that thing already, right? Because it's like naturally you're drawn to your purpose a little,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna like when you think about it and you're like, oh, this is what I should be doing. You're gonna find out, okay, I was doing that a little bit. I've been doing that, or I was really already in that. I guess I was right. You know, like you're gonna find yourself on around that
Yeah.
spectrum.
Yeah.
So if I find myself on the left side where I was doing that a little, but I need reinforcement, I write it down. If I don't find myself there, I tend to like try at least to be like, no, that's just within you already. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know.
Okay, that makes sense. That's smart.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Because I definitely used to be in a place where I'd write every fucking thing down, from the most practical shit to the most. I'd have in my reminders like, be a good person, like like on some stupid shit.
I mean,
and it's like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's important. Obviously, you should do it every day, but it's like you don't need your phone to tell you like give money to a homeless man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that like, yeah, there's a difference between like planning out like, okay, next week I'm gonna make sure that I do these tasks versus like, okay, I'm gonna smile and be happy. Like those are not things that you need to write down.
Right. That's literally what I was doing,
That's
bro.
a
And I was
that's a
like, no,
practice. Yeah. So
this is not here for that. But
I think that that's so crucial that you are reflecting in some way. So being able to like just reflect on where you are going and what you've done and then where you want to go. So what I used to do, so I do like almost like a hybrid version of what you're talking about where I'll start with, it almost sounds like what you do too, because I'll start with paper. I'll actually write down and just kind of get the main like few things that have been like floating around in my head for the last whatever, and then more will start to come out. And then when I'm finished with that, I'll kind of like sit with what I've regurgitated, like sit with what
yeah.
I dumped on the paper, and then I'll move into like a meditation. So I kind of almost do it in like a reverse way. Like you do it in a way where like you meditate, you grab the thought and then you stick on paper what you want to stick. And I kind of like put everything on paper and then I pull off paper and sit on what I want to stick. I mean, same, but
Gotcha.
different, but I think it's pretty cool that, that there's, cause they're both accomplishing the same thing. It's just a matter of like the person.
It's just we're just different people.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
that's awesome.
No, it's cool,
man. But
thank you.
I definitely am excited to kind of see how this whole thing unfolds, life and whatnot.
I thought you were talking about the track for a second, but I was like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, no, the track, yeah. I did want to try something on the track, but I'm going to try a little bit later. Someone on my Instagram mentioned lowering the.
I saw that.
But I don't.
I thought it sounded okay, but I mean, you're always welcome to try. You know?
Yeah, but I thought I had thought that I tried that, and I'm pretty sure that I did. But regardless, I'll do that another time. But that was just...
Also, I didn't. What I sent you is not. I didn't send you stems, so like you won't be able to do it on what I sent you.
Yeah. So I figured for this one we'll just play the track, and then if I want to, I can mess around with it. But overall, the track, I mean, I think it's fine as is. I don't think it needs to be edited at all, because the thing about it is that it translates well across all platforms, meaning like phone, computer speakers, speakers. And I think it's because it's sitting at a little bit higher than a usual low end. But yeah, I think it sounds great. But anyway, did you want?
It sounded great in my studio too.
Yeah. Did you want me to play it, or you want me?
We can talk another like couple minutes and we'll play it.
Okay, sounds
good. Maybe like 10 more minutes.
Yeah, good shit.
I'm trying to think. So
I had something I wanted to ask you if you didn't have like a specific topic.
No, go ahead.
So I wanted to ask you about square heads.
Okay.
It almost seems like it's a company, and this is kind of where what my question is, like, what is it? Because it kind of seems like a company that they film and edit videos for you, but they do it in a way that gives you content. It's almost like a new age social media management agency that you hire. Is that like, what is it?
They're my production team.
They're your production team?
They are a production team that I've hired and collaborate with, in the sense of I am like their number one client.
Got it. So when you hired them for this project, was it a like, obviously?
So me and them, the reason I say my production team is because we're on contract for a year. So no matter what I'm doing, I'm with Squareheads.
Oh, that's sick. Okay.
And it's non-exclusive, so I can go anywhere else and do what I want. But like they are, like I worked with them for 1 or 2 music videos in the beginning of the year. I was like, you guys are fucking sick. And what they do for every video is like they give you a rollout. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, it
they
seems like they've done this before. Like, they have a
well,
like a
eh,
formula.
eh,
Okay,
they
they're
they
working on
they
it.
they've they yeah, they're like they're young. You know what I mean? So they know what they're doing technically, but in terms of experience, they could use some more.
Got it.
But that's kind of what I'm here for. It's like I'm offering them a portfolio of stuff to do, and I'm bringing new ideas to the table. Like we just did a cooking show thing that was like my idea. We did like some acoustic stuff that was my idea. All of the video concepts are my ideas, and then they like introduce certain skit things that they brought into the table, and obviously they do all the filming and editing.
They need to hire
So
you
it's
as a
like
creative
it's a
director.
combo. I know. I mean, that's basically like when this contract is up. That's kind of what I aim to do. Is like because they're good with creative direction, but they liked me at the beginning before we even had a contract because they was like, bro, every video you bring to us is different and challenging, and we like that, you know, because they're used to doing the same. He rents a Porsche, go get some prop money, let's get some guns, boom boom, a rap video. You know what I mean?
That's
You
so
know,
good. Yeah, I'm gonna do that next
so
video. I'm kidding.
so we've all seen a million of those, and they've done hundreds of them. So I was like, and I never wanted to be that. My whole thing is to be entirely me, and I'm not that. So I think the first video I did with them was the cut ties one. Um, have you seen that? I think
It's
you
the one where
maybe.
you have the phone in the beginning, right?
I have a phone in the beginning.
Yeah. Well,
No,
no, no,
no,
no,
that
no.
was
That
that
was
was that was that was before them. That was with somebody else.
yeah. Cut ties was the I remember now. Where so you're in the green jacket and you do the
Yes,
cuts and
yes,
stuff
yes,
into the Camaro and
yeah.
all that. Yeah, yeah,
So that was the first one I did with them. Um, and it was kind of like magic ever since. Like the video came together great. I've been learning a lot from them in terms of like how to put shit together and editing process and like how productions are actually filmed and what's required. Um, yeah, but they are a team of two that
yeah.
are
Damn.
the two square heads,
Got it.
and yeah, they do this for everybody, a lot of people around LA. I'm not their first client, but I'm like they recently teamed up to start doing this, and I am 90% of their content thus far.
I mean being that the content is so good and that they're on the content, like that's why I'm asking you about them, because like they're on everything and it's like okay,
Right.
there's some sort of a partnership there, and I was curious because you guys do a great
Yeah, yeah,
job.
yeah.
Like I wasn't sure like what part each of you played, so it's cool to know like you have a production company that you can kind of grow with in a sense as an artist and as they grow as a
Yeah,
company.
100%. It's like, have you seen the baby is always with the real goats?
Yes.
It's exactly like that.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That wasn't even something. That's not even something that I have available to me out here in Texas. So I mean, I probably do in
I mean,
Dallas, but
that's why I like locked it in as quick as bro, because it's a blessing. And even okay, here's another thing. Like in the last time we just recently linked at a friend of mine's like his dad's mansion, filmed some cool stuff. The shooting day itself didn't go great, right?
okay.
So it was like we had a talk afterwards about like not they've been missing some deadlines, etc., etc. I understand it's a team of two, but like I pay for etc.
I
Right?
mean,
Like
yeah.
that whole conversation. But what I appreciated about that day and about them, and I'm sure that they want to be like this for everybody, but they're really like this with me, and I really appreciated this, was that from the jump when I signed this contract with them, I saw it as us growing together. Like I saw us building kind of a joint empire, one on my end, one on your end. We both helped each other grow, and now we're going to continue to add to each other's IP value, etc. To them, I knew already. You guys do a great job, but you see this as a business deal. I'm giving you X, you're giving me Y,
Right.
right? That's fine. As long as you do your job, that's fine, right? What I got from that bad day was reassurance, not reassurance, was the first confirmation that they actually see this as a building process the same way I do,
Mm.
which I was really appreciative of, because before, again, I didn't mind the fact that it was transactional because that's what it is, it's business. But I also like now am under the same impression, like I can also hold them accountable for the image,
Mm.
as opposed to just like, okay, you did your job, I'd like you to revise one time, now send, like
Yeah. It's funny.
You get me?
Yeah, no, it's funny that you're saying it like that because I have almost the same relationship with a team that I'm working with in Italy. So the team that I'm working with a team to put out this DJ course that I've been working
Hmm.
on, which it's about to re-release as an evergreen product, digital product. But yeah, in the beginning, it was very like, okay, here's what I want you to do. And they're like, okay, we need this from you. So it was very like, here's A, here's B, here's X, here's Y. All right, cool. And then we had like, I want to say like maybe like a month into it, we had a conversation where they were like we know who you are, like in terms of like we've been talking for this long, like we've started to really like get to know each other as people and not just as
Hmm.
like business entities. And
Right, right,
then they
right.
started talking about how I could make improvements to not just the product that we were working on, but how I can make image improvements on my like on my socials. And then I'm doing the same thing with them where I'm like, hey, have you ever thought about doing this with your other clients, like what we're doing? And then I'll like give them the idea. So very very similar. It's like they're a
Yeah.
younger company, they're only like 2 or 3 years
Right.
old, and I'm giving them like IP, but they're also helping me to shape my image and work on things that they have like a team of like 20 people working on. So
For a different product, it's exactly the same relationship that I have with Squareheads.
that's
It's
super
literally that.
awesome.
Like the I don't, you might have seen the skit, like the
I've
little
seen a
teacher
few of
thing.
them. Yeah,
Just saw the one with the teacher guy, the professor
I
who was
think
like
so.
sitting in the
If you
yard.
posted it, I saw it. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. Um, like for example, I gave them the name for that show that they're gonna then go and take to every other client of theirs and shit like that.
Oh, damn.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? So I was, yeah, so shit like that. Like we add to each other's empire,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
That's really cool,
which
man.
is
That's
dope.
that's rare. I
Um,
feel like I don't think that like that's something that you can't just like go out and find. That's something that has to be like created and like with a little bit of luck.
it comes from a mutual respect of talent though, because
Mm,
they treat me like a lot of videographers are like, it's a million of y'all in LA, bro. Do the shit. I'm gonna go ahead, edit this, and send it to you. You're not making it. You're not making it. Here's the camera shot. You know what I mean? Like that. That's how they act. And it's
God.
like I totally understand it, but that's just not what I get from them. They treat me like the artist who's on the come up, and they understand this is how I want to do my rollouts, and this is how we finna blow Cloudy up. And I treat them like a production team that deserves this amount of money and this amount of response time every month, and this is how we do this. And I organize the spots, and we combine our efforts. So I give them what they deserve. They give me what I deserve for our mutual efforts. You know,
Damn. Yeah, that's so cool, man. I'm like I said, I'm so glad that you have that because to
blessing.
to
Blessing.
as an artist coming up in any endeavor, whether you're a musician or and just like a graphic artist or whatever, photographer, you need those kinds of relationships in order to really set yourself apart from everyone else. Because everyone else has like the apps, they've got the programs, they've got Reddit, they've got ChatGPT,
Right, right, right.
but they don't have the relationship that you built with another artist. And can like, and I've always noticed growing up as a DJ, like there's that same symbiotic relationship with like DJs and photographers, DJs and videographers, or like
Yeah,
those kinds of
yeah.
things are I haven't even thought about it until now about how crucial in essence they are to you really. And I'm not saying like if you don't have a videographer you're not going to make it, but I think having collaborations as an artist that are outside of your medium, so collaborate, yeah, like collaborating with a fashion designer as a musical artist, or collaborating with a toy designer as a digital artist, like Invisible
Right.
Friends and like Funko, like that kind of thing, like that is super. Which that's not a bad idea. I might have to pitch them on that, but anyway, I think it's important that those relationships exist. And now that we've brought it to surface, I'm gonna start looking for more because and again, like I said, it's not something that you can just go out and go to the store and pick up, but it's
Right,
something
right,
to,
right.
if you're aware of it, I think that you can be a little bit more intentional about the relationships that you're breeding, uh,
Definitely.
and then take it from there. And because,
What I
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say what I've noticed in that realm though is, how do I put this? Um, it has to start from a point of mutual respect. So like you know somebody might, or somebody brings to the table exactly what you're looking for, but is, like, for example, if it wasn't Square Heads but it was Lyrical Lemonade,
Mm.
it would be a lot more transactional because there is not mutual value.
Right. Yeah. There's got to be mutual benefit and value,
Right.
and takeaway. Like it's got to be a give and take from both. It can't be like, I think what you just said is perfect. Like Lyrical Lemonade and like an up and coming artist it's not. I mean,
Right.
they do it, but it's only after that up and coming artist has already hit like a certain point. Like you're not gonna just like call him up and be like, "Yo, Cole, what's good?" Like, nah, Cole's got shit to do with Yachty.
Exactly. Or it's like that. It's like the most prevalent example of that in the music industry is artist producer, because what I've noticed is like, so for example, I've recently met and started working with this producer who's had like some accolades and stuff, but I don't like, how to put this. He likes my music,
Mm-hmm.
right? So obviously that's a factor. If he thought it was ass, we wouldn't have had a meeting.
Yeah.
But I didn't come in there and say, I only have $30 a beat when you've done X, Y, and Z. Like I'm offering more for, I'm genuinely providing capital for talent, which he deserves.
Right.
But he's also giving me, like, he's not just recycling shit. He's like, all right, we're gonna cook together. We're gonna create something
Nice.
you need. You know what I mean? He's not just sending me, like, I mean, he sends me shit that is fire, but like, we're gonna create something together for the X price that we worked out, and and like we also hang out on the side. We homies. So it's like there's a there's an understanding that talent needs to respect talent, and if you want to end up getting paid for your passion, you got to start respecting that other people want that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you got to
So
pay people for their
you can't be like,
time.
I'm an artist, I want to blow up, and I need free beats.
Yeah, no, it's yeah that I had that conversation with my wife actually, because I was asking her, I was like, I want like pictures and shit, but I don't want to pay for them. She's like, bro, that's like someone asking you to DJ for free. I'm like, damn it, you're right.
Right.
Like
Right.
when you put it in that perspective, you realize like, bro, we're all trying to hustle here, and the best way that you can, no, it wasn't a photographer, it was a graphic designer. I was like, I want someone to graphic design me something. But she was like, that's literally someone asking you to do what you do for free. Like, no. And then I realized, like, you also, with the understanding of you finding the right person, like somebody that's not like, well, scummy for lack of better terms, like you want to,
Right.
obviously once you've vetted them as a person, but from there, you like give with the, like you're saying, you almost like give more with the expectation of showing like respect on the front end of being like, hey, look, I understand where you're at in your career versus where I'm at, and it might be vice versa, but we've talked about this before. Like you really want to be in a relationship that is mutually beneficial, because otherwise one person's slowing the other person down, and that respect is absolutely necessary, or else all you're going to get is a transaction. And sometimes that's okay, but like you said, having a producer that's willing to work with you versus like, here's my catalog, these are my prices, like
Right.
that's
Right.
that doesn't, and again, that kind of goes back to what I was saying about these things are crucial to stand out, because that's when each artist is willing to go above and beyond the normal status quo that they're used to create something extraordinary, like extraordinary, like it creates something better than the norm. And that's kind of where I've seen a lot of people go from like really doing good to just like popping off because of
Yeah.
the production value goes up, like their
That's
videos
what
go
I'm
up and
saying.
all
Like
that.
that's what my mind has been on since this year. Really, has been like, because I never wanted, my whole hang up on putting music out was being like everybody else.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And
mm,
I obviously got to a point where I don't feel like my sound is like everybody else's. But if my image is, then it won't matter.
yep.
You know what I mean? So that's where it came in. Like, I found people I can work with. I built relationships with people I can work with. And I've also built a lot of value within myself in terms of learning how to create stuff on my own.
Right.
Um, and manage stuff on my own. Like I don't need a social media manager and shit like that. But understanding that the only way to create the image I really want is by allowing others to contribute.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like your image won't come together if you're the only one putting it together, because it's like then nobody else will ever see it. You know, like it's like if you create a pizza, make a pizza, and then you eat your pizza all the time, and then like you never get any opinions on your pizza. You're just constantly eating your own pizza, and then it's time like if somebody finds out you make pizza and they're like, bro, can you come make some pizza for my restaurant? You're like, yeah. And you go over there and everybody fucking hates your pizza because you never got any opinions on it. You know?
Well, yeah, and I mean, we're always better together. Like you can always go further with a community than you can by yourself. And what you're saying about the pizza, that's a great way to look at it, because you're without feedback and without any sort of outside input, you don't know your blind spots. That's very egotistical to think that you know what's good right off the bat without any sort of input. Like, okay.
You're not a fucking Tesla, man.
Yeah, you're not that good. You're not Elon Musk. No, even he had input. But yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that that's one of those things that you have to understand at a fundamental level, but those are the things, those are the lessons that will carry you in life way beyond, because you're willing to pay for quality, A, and you're willing to recognize talent, B, which is kind of the point, is like if you're willing to I don't want to use to submit, but if you're willing to like put your ego aside and as an artist know that you've got talent, but so does this other person, and we're gonna make something great together. Like I've been so beyond the whole like dramatic, like I don't deal with drama. The second I realize someone has any drama in their life, I'm out. I'm peace. I don't have time for that shit. So like if someone's gonna be like, oh, I'm better than you, I'm gonna be like, great, yes you are, goodbye. Like if it's
funny because so I don't mean to interrupt you, but this maybe gave me like a flashback. Like when I first met this producer, right? Because
the one you're working
also
with?
In our industry, that I'm working with now, in our industry, like ego is enormous with everybody, right?
Oh my god, yeah.
So I meet this guy, right? So I met him through a friend of mine, through my barber, and like I showed him my shit. He liked it. He said, and then like I exchanged numbers, just let it be, right? I didn't hit him up after that. He calls me, right, out the blue. He's like, bro, we need to set up a meeting. I like you, right? Like,
yeah,
let's talk, right? I'm like, bet, I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm real busy right now. He said, no problem. He continuously calls me, checks up on me, like doesn't even talk about me. He just calls me and just be like, what you doing? You all right? Starts talking shit, right?
Yeah.
Then we link. He comes to my studio, starts playing me beats. I start playing the music, cool. And then he looked at me. He go, so I'm at this point in my career, or he goes, so I've gotten, this is what he said. He goes, so I've gotten an understanding of more like who you are, where you at in your career, what you trying to do. I'm like, bro, you called me. Fuck you mean? Fuck you mean what I'm trying to do?
What are we doing here?
You mean?
You're like,
right? Like
I don't know.
And like it put an antagonistic energy in the room, but it also put a respect in the room. Because I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to work with you. Your shit is hard, but I don't need you for nothing. You know?
Right, okay.
So I think that builds a mutual, like, that builds what's the word? Or like another example, right? Like this just helps. Examples are always better. He goes on to say, like, I work with artists I like, right? So I'll work with your prices. So, for example, like, if I was in the studio with Rod Wave and Lil Baby, I'm charging them 20, 30 grand a beat.
Right.
I'm not charging you. Or he goes, I'm not going to make you pay that. And I was like, I wouldn't pay that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's like, ridiculous. Who do you think I am?
Shit like that. So I'm like, I understand who you are, but, like, that don't mean shit to me, you know? And, like, that understanding of, like, we're still people.
Yep.
And I don't give a fuck about none of that. Is like why we get along and why me and everybody I work with in this realm get along, because it's not, we don't care where we are in terms of industry and success and this fucking image they try to throw on us. We're just people trying to help each other.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
So
that also,
that type of
relates to saying that I've followed for a long time is don't ever sit at a table that you're not willing to get up from.
Preach.
Because if you have that level of I don't need you, and so does the other person, then you can get that almost eliminates the ego altogether. Because it's like
Yeah.
I already know that you're good, and you know that I'm good. So now that we have that out of the way, because it's almost like a weird subconscious human thing that we kind of like. That's why people ask you what you do. It's not they don't care about what you do. It's so they can figure out how much respect to give you.
Right. No, 100%.
So yeah, it's just one of those things we
100%.
do as humans to like put up this like, and then once you like realize, hey, we're both big King Kong gorillas that can beat the shit out of each other. We don't need to fight. Like we're good. Like to an
Right.
animalistic view. But yeah,
Right.
then
Right.
you
Right.
then you put the egos aside and you're like, wow, let's really make magic because you're no longer in a diminishing relationship. You're now in a like you're appreciating in the sense of like getting better and also in the sense of appreciating each other. So it's working together versus like working in two silos where it's like I'm Cloudy, I'm a producer, and it's like no, like we're working together.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you still
Exactly.
remain separate, which is the best part because you're able to not conform to each other's style, which is what makes collaboration so epic. Is that like
Hmm.
you and I are a great example because of thousands of reasons, but the one that comes to mind is the thing we were talking about the other day is like I have like more of a darker style where like your style is more like uplifting and like that kind of energy. So I think that when
You can
we
literally tell by like our screens right now.
yeah.
But yeah.
you're in a dark room and you're in the light. Oh god, sunlight. But yeah, it's super cool to see, and that's why I've been so into collaboration. I mean, anyone as an artist will tell you like, oh, you need to collaborate. It's you need to do it just to become a better artist, but also for the intangible things, the things that you learn. And this is one of the things that I've been taking away from my DJ interviews because I still said to myself, I don't know what I'm going to get out of these, but I'm kind of curious what I can learn. So I approached it from a curious, like learning mindset, like listening. I just want to hear you out. So I literally do this, what we're doing, but like with DJs and there's no like
Right.
screen, but I've learned so much about how people like view things and like what people do to get ready and their journeys and stuff like that. And
Mm.
it's one of those things that I can take away the nuggets from that conversation and apply it. And those are the things that I wouldn't be able to even know about. Like, for example, the best example I have, because you just said examples work, and this is a good one. So the first person I started talking to, I was like, yo, so I've seen DJs go to shows with no headphones. And I was like, what's up with that? Because I mean, I grew up in the time where you didn't have an option to not have headphones. Like, we didn't have sync buttons, we didn't have computers, we just had vinyl.
Right.
So I was like, I don't know who does that. And he was like, I do that. And I was like, what? How? Explain that process to me. And he explained it to me. And I was like, oh, so that's something I had no idea about until I was open to the collaboration of a conversation with another artist. And there was mutual respect right off the bat. Like, this person knows that I'm a DJ. I have been for 15 years, so I have some relevancy. And then I'm giving them immediate respect because they're offering up their time to me to be recorded
Right.
like that. So right there, that's a mutual respect from the beginning. So that's been breeding really good conversation like right off the
Mm.
bat because they're more willing to provide information because they understand that I'm not going to hurt them. Like I tell them right off the bat that I'm never going to post anything without telling you or without sending it to you first for your approval. And my only goal is to get to know you better so that I can know my network better. Like, that's literally it. Like, I just want to know who follows me. Who are these people? Like, you're a DJ. What do you play? Like, one dude, the first dude I talked to was like, yeah, I'm in Ohio. I'm like, Ohio? What's in Ohio? And like, we started talking about like the music scene in Ohio. And apparently they're like 10 years behind when it comes to the electronic music scene. And it's stuff like, I would have never known that. And that's something that helps
Right.
me to better market myself as an artist. I know not to market myself in Ohio because I don't play 10-year-old music, that kind of thing. So yeah,
Or you could change the whole scene in Ohio. Then.
well, that's what this kid was saying. He's like, I'm trying to change it. And I was like, well, he even said, he was like, yo, if you ever want to like come out here and play, like we can do that. And he was like, if you ever want me to play in Dallas, I'll fly to Dallas. Like, no problem. So like those types of opportunities can are what come out of these types of openness to collaborate with other artists. But I mean, there are people that won't even make the first effort because of social anxiety, and I feel bad for those
Yeah,
people.
yeah, that is a big thing. Yeah.
But it's
I
hard.
feel like honestly that comes in different shapes and sizes, but it like there's social anxiety, and then there's also a lack of confidence and or love in oneself that can contribute hugely to that. Like I think uh, on my personal journey and in my life in general, and this is something I this is probably one of my biggest life battles. I need to learn how to develop love in myself, like real love in myself prior to having confidence.
Hmm.
Because right now, what I need to do is like, I have just enough love in myself to believe in myself to then go work, put my head down and work. So I have the confidence to then go be really love myself because I've done this thing now.
Yeah. So you want to flip it around.
Whereas, right, I want to be able to have all that and be like, fuck it, I can do that easy. Do that times 10. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
this should be the least important part.
Yeah.
You know? Like even though to the world that's the most important, I shouldn't like this should be I'm me, so of course I can do that. Of course I not like, well, I can probably do that,
Yep.
you know?
And then you got to like
Like
show yourself. So
right, right, right.
I feel like that's something that, and this is from my experience, I feel like that comes through doing. Like you have to go through and just
Yeah.
do the things that you don't want to do and do the things that you aren't sure about. Like I when I find myself like pulling away and withdrawing from opportunities or getting like that like anxiety, letting it rule me, like no, dude,
You've got to do it.
you
You've
have
got
to
to
do
do it.
it. Especially
I know,
because you're
bro.
feeling that feeling. Like that's
Yes.
really sometimes like I don't want to go see people, but I don't have that gut feeling where I'm like, oh, I really don't want to go. But then I'll get that gut feeling, and I'm like, damn it, now I have to go because I really don't want to, which means there's something
Yeah, bro, cuz
there that I need.
it makes you I had some on the tip of my tongue. It gives you security is the wrong word, but like you go and you do this thing and then you're like,
Reassurance.
yeah, thank you. It gives you reassurance that the world isn't so fucking scary and you can do more shit than you think you can do. You know?
Yeah, well, it reminds your brain that people aren't gonna try and hurt you when you go outside. Like
Yeah,
it
basically.
if you so I heard this thing where if you want to overcome these types of things, you just have to do it. But it's more than that because what you're doing is when your brain gives it like comes up with that intrusive thought of like, oh, people are scary. By you not going out, all you've done is reaffirm with
It's
your
making them
body.
scary.
Yeah, you've literally
Right.
told your brain, yes, people are scary, so we're not going. And then it just keeps redoing that, and it becomes this like groove in your brain where it's just like people are terrifying until that one time you get caught outside with your neighbor, and you're like, oh wait, people aren't that scary. So I think,
You know, it's
yeah.
funny. I noticed this like cycle in this exact in what you're talking about, like with I guess you could say like the various endeavors in life that I
Mm.
pursued,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And I think that's the case with most things. It's like we'll talk music for the sake of this, but like you start off not knowing anything about music. Let's talk about the very beginning. You don't know shit about music. You just know you want to try it out. You really like it, right?
Mm.
Obviously, you have to have enough belief in yourself to write that first song, to do that first thing, to pick up the computer the first time. But you know your shit already. So it's like
Well, see,
you
that's the
got
problem
you
is
got
most people don't. They just assume that they're good.
true. Well,
That's why they get frustrated because they're like, the sound in my head is not
okay,
on the computer, and it's like because you suck.
okay, okay, maybe.
It's okay. I suck too. We suck together.
maybe honestly I'm looking. I mean, I know it is like realistically, but it's a blessing that I don't have all of that like like that love right away, because maybe I wouldn't do as much.
I see. That's what I'm thinking. Is like personally, if I didn't have that like voice in my head that was like, nope, you got to prove it. Um,
Yeah,
like if I could confidently say like I can go into any endeavor and just feel confident about me being me and like that being a good thing, like with every endeavor. I'm not saying
right,
I
right, right.
can't do that, but like there are endeavors like meeting with new business partners, meeting with people that like are way above where I'm at. It's like going to a meeting with Atlantic Records. Like
Right.
that is the kind of thing that you have to like, but yeah.
No, so to that point, it's like you start off, you know, you're not really shit, right? And then you essentially you go from not knowing if you fit in to working your ass off and then proving to yourself that you fit in, and then working your ass off 10 times harder and proving to yourself that you can excel.
Wow. Like you're instead of you being the last one that you wanted to, that you're proving it to, it'd be a lot better if we could just prove it to ourselves and then prove it to everybody else.
Yeah, because you got to prove it to yourself first. You know?
I mean, do you though? Because I think that you can do it without proving it to yourself. Kind of like you're saying, like you just have to have enough of a hope and enough of belief in yourself, like that little bit of
Right.
like a little mustard seed, as they say. Like you just have to have a
Right.
little mustard seed of hope and faith that you can do it, and then you push yourself through it, and then you find out that you can do it. Whereas that whole time, like you didn't know you could do it until it was done. So I'd almost say that like.
That's what I mean. And like when it's done, you've proven it to yourself.
Yeah, so the question then becomes when that comes back, like what do you do? Like does the same thing happen, or
What do you mean when that comes back?
so that feeling. So like when that, or not feeling, sorry, when that situation comes back. So like let's say it's meeting a new potential business partner. The
Okay.
first time it's like it's hard. It's like one of those things you
Right.
have to like really work yourself up to. And then the next meeting, do you have to work yourself up, or does it depend on how long that last meeting was? Like, do you have to continue do you continue proving to yourself that you can do this, or do you just like is it like a muscle where if you don't go to the gym and work on it every week that it starts to go down, or is it one of those things where it's muscle memory where you've kind of you've got it down, you just have to make sure
It's exactly like a sport. It's like riding a bike, in my opinion, or like any sport one gets really good at. Like without a lot of practice or without consistent practice, you're going to be rusty.
Hmm.
But with you have a lot of it under your belt, you never forget how to do it.
Nice. Yes, I agree with that. Absolutely. That's a really good way to put it.
So thankfully, I did a lot. I did tennis. Like that was my shit for a long time, and I gather a lot of how I take myself into other endeavors in life from that, because I took 2 years off and then became a coach. Like
Yeah.
I didn't need to go back to practice because I knew exactly what, even if I couldn't do it, I knew exactly what to tell people to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm like that with
So it's
DJing.
like,
I've been doing it for that long, like 15 years. So like
right, exactly. So you have no problem. Like if you were to take a week off, you might be a little
I
rusty.
took a year off. I literally DJ'd. I was DJing for 12 years, and then I took like 2 years off and then picked it right back up. And I
See what I'm
literally had
saying?
a show that next day.
That's exactly what I mean, bro. It's like it's in you after you've proven it to yourself a million times over. So to answer your question, you have to keep working at it so that it becomes muscle memory. I think that's why I'm at where I'm at with the business a bit, because I've now proven to myself that I fit in this world of business owners and entrepreneurs that I was so afraid I wouldn't fit in. Right?
Yep.
But it's not muscle memory yet. So I'm above the ground zero. But I know that if I don't continue to put in this work, I'm going to fall back to ground zero, at least in my own head.
Yeah.
Because I would have like you become stagnant.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that, you know?
Yeah, stagnant and complacent is the two worst things that you can be as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're gonna stall and fall right out of the sky.
Especially because there are people out there who like nobody's there's somebody who's never stagnant, you know?
That's the thing, is like I can't not work, because that gives whoever's, and it's not, I hate saying this because it's not about it, you just have to be better than yourself the next day, but if you want to get better than yourself the day before, you have to work
Right.
Like you can't like
Right.
you can't work once a week and think that you're gonna just get better. That's a maintenance schedule at not even like that's barely a maintenance schedule. Like you have to put in the work, and I don't mean like 6 hours a day every day. No, man. Like if you can put in like a 30 minutes to an hour on your craft a day, and even that's like a lot to do consistently. But if you can do that, I can tell you right now that when I got exponentially better at producing when I set a timer for 30 minutes and I told myself you're going to do this for 30 minutes a day for a month straight, and then it turned into 2 months, and then it turned into 3 months, and then it kind of started to get a little bit more sporadic because I built the habit. It's kind of like a micro
Right.
version of what we're talking about. Is like you have to build the habit, but once you have the habit, it's a maintenance thing. But if you're not willing to like put in the work and do the 10,000 hours to make it muscle memory, you're not gonna.
100%.
I don't. Yeah.
100%.
But there's people that once they start to get to where you're at and where I'm at, like where we're at, it's like they like let the foot off the gas pedal, and it's almost like the worst thing that you could do because then
That's the thing that's fucked up, but like you're so right. That's the thing that you could do, but that comes from more love in yourself. It comes from like, I'm here, bro. I got it.
mm,
As opposed to like our confidence is more built from what or rather, we're more confident because of what we accomplished, but we don't have enough self belief to say, man, I'll be alright if I stop right now and pick it up and eat. Like, no, you gotta hound it down till it's really done, and then keep going till it's really solidified, and then make it work for itself. Then you can take that like
yeah, you're absolutely
that's
right.
kind of why Drake still does what he does.
Yeah, I mean you're not done building the machine. What are you doing taking time off? That machine's gonna rust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But when the machine runs and can fucking water itself, like, then you're good. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the goal, right? To have a self-sustaining system that you don't need anyone else for, really. I mean, anyone else in the terms of like you don't need to like hire people or not hire. Jesus, you're not doing the work. You're just living the life. Like your lifestyle has. I just want my lifestyle to be my lifestyle, like that. Like I don't want to have to do something I don't want to do when I don't want to do it anymore. I mean, I know that's everybody's thing, but it's not because I want to sit and watch TV all day. It's because I want to be able to spend time with my family when I want, and I want to be able to work on music when I want. And I don't want to have this like box that I have to operate within because of like finances or time. Like those are the two biggest constraints that we have as human beings. But once you create enough money, then that's where you get your time back. So creating a system.
Preach.
Well, so there's also, yeah, but you have to do it right. I feel like there are such things as a wrong and right way to build a machine like that, because
100%.
if you don't do it right, it's not gonna last long, and it also won't afford you the lifestyle. Like living off of Social Security in America, that's not a lifestyle. No, I'm sorry. Unless you have another nest egg coming in. Like I'm telling you because I can see it in both my grandparents. Like one grandparent was super entrepreneurial. They built their own house with their own hands, like literally built their house from the ground up type thing. And he walked 15 miles in the snow and as a postman, like literally that was but yeah, that kind of, I've seen that type of person living off Social Security. They're balling out because Social Security is just an extra check. But then people who literally live off of Social Security, that's not a lifestyle that I want to live. Like being like having to when I want to go out to eat at a certain place, mind you, I'm not trying to eat bougie just because the price tag is a big price. And same thing with my clothing. Like I want to be able to buy clothes whether they're nice or not, whether it's a $20 pair of Dickies or it's a pair of like Chrome Heart jeans that are like 1,500, whatever. Like I like what I like, and I don't like any restrictions on that. And I'm not a type of person that's gluttonous, like, oh, I need $1 million so I can buy a Ferrari and go fast. Like, nah, man.
It's about freedom.
Freedom. There you go. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny too, because like I used to teach all this stuff and talk a lot about this when I was in like network marketing and mentorship and leadership and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like what I'm doing now is giving me a greater opportunity than if I would have stayed in that, because there's what we were talking about last time, the talkers and the doers. And when I was in that group, it was a bunch of talkers. Everybody was like, we're doing it, we're doing it, we're doing it. And because we were chanting, we're doing it, we all thought we were doing it. We were patting each other on the back for not doing anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's
I can't stand
it's
it.
rough,
You
man.
just like my biggest pet peeve in life is just I just be, oh my god, I want to tell people shut the fuck up so
Just do
much,
it, man. Just like
so much.
that's why I started adopting this saying, "Don't talk about it, be about it."
Yeah,
Because like that, honestly, that like I'm tired of hearing people talk. I want to see it. Like I believe in you, but do you believe in you?
I said I might have posted this the other day, but it's all to the same effect. But you know how they say, you know, it should be in you, not on you.
I haven't heard that one in a long time. Yeah, that's a good one.
So I like, you know, I say it's in me, it's not on me. But if it's on you, then someone could take it off you.
Damn. Okay, that's good. So it has to be within you, or else it has no
Yeah, man.
chance.
Because if it's just words, and then somebody comes in with some words that contradict your words, then you're gonna be oh. But if it's in you and it's not, you shut the fuck up about it, so they can say whatever to you. It doesn't matter. You know what you're doing.
That is such a piece that I hope everybody gets to feel, but I know that there are people that struggle with that, just like caring what people think. And I know I feel like everybody I talk to is like, I don't care what people think, but I'm like, I think you do. I think that you like the idea of not caring, and I think that you don't care what you post on Facebook. But I think that if somebody was like,
Right.
you dress like shit, you'd probably be you'd be a little hurt.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm
100%.
not gonna be. If you tell me you dress like shit, I'm gonna be like, that's fine. I don't. Okay. Says
Right.
you.
Right. Right.
Like what is that? Your opinions and thoughts have literally. You know what it is? I think when you start paying your own bills, you don't let other people tell you anything about anything. Cause like, what are you gonna tell me? Like honestly, my parents can't even tell me anything anymore. Like my parents came
Yeah.
to my house the other day, and like my wife was like, "Oh, what happens if we do this and that?" And like I'm like, "This is my fucking house. What are you the house? What are they gonna say to me? They're like, what? Don't smoke in your own house? Like, bro, it's my fucking house." But yeah, no, I think that that's one of
Yeah,
those
man.
things that once you and that comes from within though. Like I'm not saying that that's not a financial thing. Like I use the house as an example, but it comes from within. Like that's a confidence that once you've provided for yourself, you already know that you can do it. It just goes back to what we were just talking about. Once you've shown yourself that you can do it, once you've started providing for yourself on your own, you're not living under someone else's thumb or roof or whatever, then
You could be more free.
you start walking to the beat of your own drum. You start like listening to yourself more and not listening to others. I'll tell you right now, I was such a people pleaser. Like I would do whatever just to make people like me. Like it was bad. Like to the point where I would change my whole style up. Like I have a picture of this like throughout a month. I literally dressed in like three different, drastically different like outfits to try and fit in, and it didn't work obviously, but I dressed super preppy, so like had a polo
Right.
shirt, like jeans, like all that stuff, like Air Postel, Air Abercrombie style stuff, because that
Okay.
was big back
Okay.
then.
Okay.
And then the next week that didn't work, so I couldn't hang out with the preppy kids, so I was like, I'm gonna be a goth. So I literally got dark all black the big baggy goth pants. I like put the like I painted my nails black. I was like, I'm doing this. Like I committed. That didn't work either. And then I tried to be
Hey,
like hip hop. Like I tried to very like baggy clothes and like all that stuff.
right.
That didn't work either. And I was just like, man, I don't know who I am at all. And I just like really tried to just be this thing that I wasn't. And
Right.
yeah, so I can totally relate, but I was doing it all
Man.
because I thought it would make people like me. Like I thought that because I wore the same clothes, I talked the same way, I like everything I did was like you. Why don't you like me? And then I realized it's because I don't even like me. So why would they like me? That's the difference. Is like if you don't like yourself, why would anyone else like you? Like you really, and it goes way deeper than just like loving yourself, because I feel
Pastor Court.
I feel like you can love yourself and still not be there, but it's a point of like you really you gotta fuck with yourself. You gotta be about like you gotta ride your own dick sometimes. Like it's really that at that level, because that's a rap lyric that I have attached myself to.
That's so funny, bro.
But for real though, if you expect other people to do it, you at least gotta try it, right?
That's so no, bro. Chill. Bro.
No, I'm kidding. But no, if you got to rock with yourself, because if you don't, other people won't either. And I think that that's where that confidence comes from as well. But you got, in order to rock with yourself, you got to prove it to yourself first that you can actually like rock with it, and then other people will rock with
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
yeah, that is true.
it's like that
Yeah,
whole thing where that dude goes dancing in the middle of a field and everyone's making fun of him, and then like 10 minutes later more people start to join in, and then the whole
I've
festival's
seen it.
dancing because of him. So like that, it's that exact thing where it's like, no, you got to fuck with yourself for like, but and be okay with it, because it's gonna be lonely for a minute. Like people are gonna be like, oh, you're weird, you're different. But then they start to go, oh, I like that. You're different. You're weird. I like, come hang out with me because I like that funny thing you
Because as
did.
soon as you get that first person to fuck with you for being different, everybody, oh, they fuck with him, and then it's
It's
the rap.
social proof is much bigger than I gave it credit for until just now. If you can, it's like the fake it till you make it. Like people really will believe you if you have a bunch of followers, or you flash a bunch of money, or you live the
Hell
lifestyle.
yeah, bro.
And like we all know it's fake, but for some reason our brain is like real.
It's so crazy to me. Like, bro, I have no followers, as you know, but like the amount of people I haven't spoken to in so long that hit me up and been like, bro, I seen your Instagram, bro, you living your best life, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, and I can only imagine what that's like for you.
Oh
But like,
yeah.
bro, it's like where, huh?
I don't.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm like out here like at the post office just doing shit, and I'm getting texts like, bro, your life lit. I'm like, hell yeah, putting the mail in, hell yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
damn right it is. But what's that got to do with you?
But this is crazy though. It's like you're so right. It's just as soon as a couple people start adopting what you got going on, it's like the waves come, and then they come in just like waves. They have like moments where they're stagnant, moments where they're like this,
Yeah.
but it's like it's a wild world.
You just gotta keep rocking with yourself, man. At the end of the day, if you're not like, if you don't fuck with you, no one's gonna fuck with you. And if you don't like what you're doing, then like change it. Like that, I feel like a lot. Again, it goes back to what I was just saying about me trying to be a people pleaser. I didn't like wearing goth clothes. I didn't like wearing preppy clothes. I didn't like any of the clothes at all. I personally was doing it to fit in. But as soon as I was like, you know what, I like wearing Dickies and skate clothes. I'm gonna do that, and I started doing that, and that was my vibe. And I tell you, there was a lot of people that were like, bro, you're lame. Like I got bullied a lot, which is weird because it was for no reason at all. But then I graduated and I went to college, and I started becoming a DJ, and like clockwork, bro. They were like, "Yo, we love dance music." I'm like, "Do you realize that you ridiculed me publicly for liking dance music?" Like I had a video of me like dancing around and like spinning glow sticks and stuff.
Yeah,
And one of the like popular kids found it online, and he like posted it and like wrote the link on the whiteboard in class and was like, yo, there's a video of Corbin like dancing like an idiot or whatever. And I was like,
right.
and everyone like looked at it and they were like trashing me and stuff. And then like literally 4 years later, they were like, bro, you going to Ultra this year? I was like, even if I am, I'm not going there with you. What, you like dance music now, so we're cool? Nah, dude. They're like, oh yeah,
Está mucho mejor que el estar pintando.
what?
No, I mean, you're what's the word, bro? You're preaching to the choir, and that's just the way of the world.
Mm.
I remember in high school. You probably talking about high school too.
Yeah.
I started dropping my first like SoundCloud songs in high school. Hot garbage, bro. Like looking back at these songs, trash. But there was this one that was still garbage, but I think it was so bad that everybody found out about it because it sucked so bad, and they just wanted to make fun of me for it.
Damn.
So, but the thing is, like at this point in my life, I wasn't really giving a fuck about anything because I was like going through a lot.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was the kid who like nobody really knew did a lot of drugs and shit. Like, I was already,
Yeah.
But people would like randomly come up because I was like the tennis player, good student, rapper. Like, it made no sense, right?
Okay.
So
yeah.
But like nobody, like I'm really not a good student. People just see me go to class. Anyways, it's off topic. But people's like I didn't know, people I knew didn't like me, friends of friends I knew didn't like me would come up to me and like say a lyric to me and just walk away snickering. I'd be like,
Bro.
bro, I swear to God, but like my innate response to that, because at that point I was like already not giving a fuck about people, and I was so thankful for that. I would like look at my plays and see one more. I'd be like, yeah, that's yo bitch ass, yeah.
That's right. Keep playing my shit.
You feel me? I literally, bro, I remember doing that so many times. See like one more play every time. I'm like, wait a minute, oh, shit, that's all you got.
Man, they're laughing at me. I'm laughing at them.
You feel me? But no, it was like it was it. It didn't start that way. Like when I was younger, and then even when I got older and started like really doing shit that I liked, and then got ridiculed for it. That was like a different feeling, because like I could always say back then, like, oh, I'm not really taking this rap shit that serious. I just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like it's like some of the first things I did. Like, yeah, I remember hella people telling me, like, even like when I stopped posting music, and there'd be like the occasional song here and there or whatever, and people be like, bro, you're not really still doing that, are you? Like,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
bro, it's like
So many of those.
That's your, especially when you like make that your life, like you're serious now. So it's like, it's, oh, you're still doing that little thing that you're doing. That's, when are you going to give that up and do something real? Like what, like you?
But the thing is, like I went through that when I wasn't really doing it. So now that I am doing, like the music to me is something nobody can tell me how to do.
Right.
And when to stop and what to do with. So it's like, I think that, but I had to prove that to myself from these experiences I'm talking about, you know? And I think like to this point, that's what I went through recently, and I'm still almost at the end of going through with the business, is like, up until recently, I would have like, I took everybody's fucking advice and was like, oh, I'm not doing this right enough, and like, I don't know how to fucking run a business. I've never done this before. But in reality, I just had to like trust my intuition, because in more often than not, that was what got me to where I am today, with like little sprinkles of what people said mixed in with what I already knew, you know?
Exactly.
So it comes from the understanding of your vision is what it is. You need to trust that, but also be open to taking the good nuggets and good at deflecting the bad ones.
Yeah. I mean, eat the meat, spit out the bones.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Sayings are fun.
Bro, the song was so funny though. I remember like I was talking about some like what the fuck did I say? Name a bigger 14-year-old flexer. I'll wait. Some shit like that. Like
That's so good. Oh god. But like but if you're that young, like what, you don't have experience. Like the reason I didn't, dude, the reason I didn't even start like really considering myself like an artist, like lyricist, rapper, or whatever, is because I didn't really have anything to talk about. I was like, what am I going to talk about? I don't have any like experience to rap from. Oh, I grew up, my life was great, and my dog's name was Cujo, and he's got a cool tail. Like, what, man? No one gives a shit about that. Like, and then I finally realized like you can embellish a little bit. But anyway,
yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
I remember though, like what's it called? When I first started rapping, like I was like that. I had nothing to really talk about, but at the same time, I was like, I knew what I was into.
Okay.
I would talk about the shit I was into, like I had done it already.
See, but that's a art in itself, really. I mean, to be doing
I got great at storytelling.
Yeah,
bro, I'm telling you.
Great. Yeah, that's really good. So, I mean, right there, so what I was gonna say, and I don't know if I said it or not, but like when you're at that point in your, we'll call it a career as an artist, just in general, I feel like that's the kind of like resistance that we all face, because every artist is gonna get told like you're not gonna make it, whatever. In some form, whether it's like making fun of you for your art or whatever it is, but that it's almost like when, if you try to help a butterfly out of a cocoon, like you can kill it. Like I think that people I think that if you don't go through that and you don't allow yourself to get hardened up first and kind of like shut people out and allow yourself to really reflect on yourself and become this butterfly, and you can't let anyone do the breaking out of that for you. You have to do it yourself, and if you let someone else do it, it's going to kill your career. So it's important to go through that as much as it sucks, but it's like the whole aspect of like life experiences is what gives your music its flavor almost. Like you're able to be a better artist because you've gone through this resistance, we'll call it, because it's not always pain. Sometimes it's like loneliness, sometimes it's like doubt, whatever, but you go through this resistance mentally, physically, financially in some cases, and that is what makes you a better artist, and it makes you a better person if you just lean into it. I think that all, like we were talking about at the beginning, when we experience that resistance of like that anxiety, that anxious feeling, those butterflies are like that, I'm not sure I can do this, that just the doubt, that's when you have to do it. And that is what gives you the ability to be a better artist when you've gone through those experiences. So if you avoid that, you're not going to have anything to like to put on paper, metaphorically, like in your music. But
hella true, bro. It's funny too, like now coming into these like not later years of my life, but technically because I haven't, these are the later years
later
of life
than where you were at before.
There you go. I've learned like the two ways I can do the music in a sense is like, there's more than two, but like there's always going to be the side of me that wants to like create exactly what I want to create and like in whatever way I want. And then the side of me that's like, I know it sells. Right. But what I've learned is like, I can do both now because I've lived enough life where I've lived parts of what sells. You know what I mean? Exactly. So I don't have to cap, but I'm not going to come here and talk about gangbanging, which sells. I'm not going to come here and talk about selling and doing all these crazy drugs and ODing all the time, which apparently sells. I'm not going to come in here and talk about private jets and diamonds because I don't have that. What I can come in here and talk about is women. So I'm going to do that. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And that's a stop. Like, I found that is the lane of the shit that is toxic and sells in the world. Like, just from living life, like you're talking about. I've obviously gotten my own experiences and things that you can
draw from it,
really tell stories from. But I also have this thing that I'm like, okay, if I want to talk about this and attract the brain dead masses, all right, at least I can talk about this well because I know about this thing.
Well, yeah, but so it's all one of those things. It's music is, especially with like hip hop, like anything with lyrics, it's about relatability, like being relatable to that. So if you can. When someone's full of shit. Like if someone's never done what you've done in a certain area, whatever it is, drugs or whatever you want to say, music, you can tell that they're full of shit. Like even I think Cars is a really good example because if you don't know your shit when you're talking about Cars and someone who does know their shit.
Right.
I've learned to stop trying. I'll immediately like throw the white flag up when I'm talking to somebody who knows cars. I'll be like, listen, bro, I know like this much, so we're going to have to keep it to this much. If you start talking the 55i versus the LL1, I'm gone. Like I can't.
Bro, I'm in the same boat as you, bro. It's so funny to me. Because I'll see people really try to, and I'll be like, I'll just watch it, entertainment.
That was
like,
me.
Ooh.
That was me. I used to be like, yeah, man, I the other day I was like naturally aspirated carburetor and like, bro, shut up. Like, my brother's a mechanic, so you really want to look stupid? Like,
yeah.
So, yeah, but that's a good example. But again, it just goes back to being like authentically you and just being like, okay, I know what I know and I know what I don't know.
Right. Very true.
Yeah, I don't know if that had anything to do with what we were talking about.
No, yeah, 100%. Because like you have to understand where you're lacking, so that you can, you know what I mean, so that you don't look stupid, so you can learn. Because if you think you know everything, you never learn anything.
Very true. Yeah, I don't know. The more I learn, the more I don't know. It's great. There's just
you want to play this track, man?
Yeah, there's this white piece of fluff that's been on top of my mic. I keep looking at it. All right. Yeah, let's play this track. Let me make sure you can hear it.
Always wanna talk, but you never want to smoke. If you flashing all the guns on your life, you a joke. Can't be posting up with bodies when you never.
It's the Weatherman, stupid. Hey, never get out of my element. No. Dope is white as an elephant. Can't let you, I'm in love with veterans. I never settle for settlements. Every time I hear you talk, you embellish it. Varsity trapping, no Letterman. Strawberry daiquiri, setting in. We left it short like a peppermint. Yeah, I listen to the devil on my shoulder. Ran into an angel, ran her over. Car drive itself, no chauffeur. Prices going up like a post. Bitch, listen to me, I'm a coach. Stepping on necks like a roach. Boy, watch your hope, I'm a pro.
Left a nice little 16 on there for brothers.
And then we can. Did you do the second one?
Yeah, I looped it.
Ay, never get out of my element.
Oh fuck yeah. Okay, cool. This is dope. Yeah, I listened to it on the way home when you sent it to me too.
Yeah,
I love this shit. This is dope.
that
So
was fun.
now what we need to do is host it somewhere for people to listen and I guess download.
YouTube.
Well, I don't think they can download it from YouTube, can they? Or so
Yeah,
well
you can do. Well, it's complicated. You
so like
maybe how about this? We post it on YouTube and on SoundCloud, and on both places we put the WeTransfer link.
nice. That's good. Yeah, okay, cool. So we'll do how do you want to do this open verse challenge? Do you
Or is Google Drive link even better?
So WeTransfer is going to expire in 7 days.
Google Drive.
Yeah. You can just make it available to everyone. But
Okay.
so I've seen there's like two different styles of open verse challenge that I've seen. So there's like the literal open verse challenge where we post it on like TikTok and then have people duet it to where
Okay.
like so you would do I can post it on mine too, but you would do like you would like sing along with the first part and then you would just like
Gotcha.
like they like hold the mic out or whatever, but you would
No, I know what you mean.
and then that way it pushes people to duet and then it makes people because you can do it on Instagram too. It's just called remixing, but basically
Right.
do the same thing on both to give people the opportunity that are on social media to while they're scrolling through social media be like, oh, I got bars for this, hold up, and then they like open it, duet it, and then they can do the like
Feel it.
but
Yeah.
there's also what I assumed we were going to do in the first place, which was have people like literally record on it and then send it in, almost like a remix contest, but not.
I'm looking at when is our next stream scheduled for?
I don't know. Let me look.
Okay, I'm seeing next Thursday. So if that is the case, let me come back on here so it doesn't lag.
Come back.
Things are moving slow since I left. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you yet. It might be on my end though. No, it's still loading on your end.
Yeah. Anyways,
Oh, there you are.
um,
We're back.
okay, it all disappeared. Hi. There we go.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
good.
Let's do everything. So we post YouTube with link, SoundCloud with link, TikTok with duet capability, Instagram with duet capability, and YouTube Shorts for the fuck of it.
Cool. Yeah, I think it'll be just good to get it out there. And then so yeah, we'll do the open verse. So whoever's got bars, spit on it, and then we'll play the next one. We'll play our favorite on the next stream.
I'm thinking what we should try and do is bring whoever, like, if they respond, bring whoever does our favorite one onto the stream. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and we can do that too. We would just have to do like what we did with your source and just make it another source.
Would that mean they need to jump on a Discord call?
I think I would be able to pull it off through like, we'll say like a Google Meet or like a Zoom meeting or something. Like pretty much any video, any type of video, or even like FaceTime if they want to do that, or WhatsApp, or I forget which one is.
You make that work. All right, bet. So let's do it like this. By the end of today, we'll have all challenges posted everywhere. For those musically inclined, feel free to jump on. For those not musically inclined, feel free to jump on, see what you could do. Our favorite one will appear in the next episode. That's it.
Sick. Let's do it. All right, so we'll get that posted later today. Yeah, we'll talk offline about like the rollout, but yeah, we'll get that posted and then start pushing it, I guess, and then just keep like promoting it wherever we can to have people jump on it, because I think that if
Yeah.
we keep it, I mean, if you post it once a day in addition to whatever you're posting, it's gonna do good for the algorithm anyway. Because I noticed when I started posting twice a day, I got more because I hit 2 different time zones. So like I posted at like 11 a.m. and then I posted at like 3 p.m. and I was able to, the content was able to hit both sides of the coin instead of just like a small pocket.
Got it. Okay, good enough.
So yeah, I mean,
All right.
it's worth trying out. I mean, what I was doing is I was like, when I was promoting my DJ course, I would post a producer tip and then I would post the DJ course, and then the next day I'd post the DJ course and then I'd post a producer tip. So I would just keep like alternating it. It's something to think about just to keep it going, because as much as we'd like to think that all of our followers are seeing what we post, I'd say like 10% of people are seeing it, because the algorithm is just like, nah, man, it's not chronological, right? So why would, and even if it was, it would be cluttered with everything that they follow. Because if you follow like more than 1,000 people and 1,000 people post in one day, like you're
Right.
just another number. But if you're, yeah, so that's why it's important to
No,
post a
no,
lot
yeah,
of
that makes
times. I think there's a statistic that says you have to post a song 7 times until one person will listen to it.
I mean, I think that comes from. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that comes from marketing, and like I've heard people say that to get a purchase, the customer needs to see a thing like 15 times. Something like
Yeah,
that.
so it's all
Right.
about just like, and as much as we think it's going to annoy people, it's not, because they're just mindlessly scrolling like everyone else. So they see it and they either like it or they don't. It's not as like black and white, like, oh, you suck, versus, oh, this is dope. That there is such a thing as a, it's, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay
100%.
too. But yeah, I'm excited.
It's crazy that if you think like so many of our views are probably that like minute shit. Like they were on it for 30 seconds, didn't even realize they were on it. Like, you know how YouTube like plays your video if you don't click it, but if you just like to sit above it for a minute,
Yeah.
I know there's plays of mine like that, bro. It's just they're just there.
Or my favorite is when you set your phone down and it's on it, and you move it to the next video and you walk away, and then you realize it's played like 8 times.
You running somebody's shit up right now.
Right? I came back and I was like, I don't even like this stuff. No, that's not. Forget.
And the algorithm
Yeah.
will send you 15 other videos like that too. You're
It's
like,
oh, you like construction builds? Let's check it out. Damn it.
bro, I'll accidentally leave it on that one dude who's like, who like hangs with the Tate brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The blonde guy who's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I'll leave it on his shit by accident. Come back, he's like, real women. I'm like, bro, shut up.
Yeah,
like,
right. Oh god. Yeah, fucking algorithm.
Ugh.
Damn.
Anyway,
All right. Well, was there anything else that we want to do today, or are we gonna call it here?
I think that's solid, bro. You can call that.
Good shit, man. Glad we were able to make that happen. But yeah, man, I'm glad you got that rolled out. It sounds fire. So let's see what y'all got.
Let's do it.